Hello all my accidental idiots. No Limit here again from Chicago. Showing you, yeah, you guessed it again, Axes and Allies. But this time, it's a classic game. Just during the week, I found this game at a thrift store. Very, almost mint condition. You see the box not hardly even worn. Boy, at that price, $2.99, but it was half price sale. Bought for $1.50. Couldn't believe my eyes. Good thing I went early. 6 o'clock in the morning. Otherwise it would have been gone. It came with everything. Look at those foam trays. Clean as a whistle. Hardly been used. I believe it came with all the pieces too. Look at that. I think the red chips though was pretty less, but for $1.50 you can't really complain. Look at this. Looks like you haven't even been used. The battle board. Out of the way, you. Look at that. That's hardly a scratch on it. Came for the rules, too. Original rules. Second edition. And the clarification rules as well. I'm surprised. When I first saw the box, I thought, hey, maybe at least has a map in it, but it had all the pieces. Look at that. Surprised. You gotta say, well, big deal. Oh yeah, well, okay, wise guy. Years ago, when I bought this game back in the 80s, I loved it. But eventually the other accidental editions came out, so I gave up my first edition to my nephews. And since then, they haven't even been using it, so I really want it back, but haven't been seeing them lately. They're both in the Army, so I haven't been able to see them now. They're all grown up and everything. They forgot all about their Uncle No Limit. But, calling to attention to my No Limits Classic A&A 1942. Look over the house rule forums, and it got a few house rules turned the same. You gotta admit, even though we didn't know at the time when we first bought the game was pretty broken. Needs to be spiced up. So that's what I did. This is mostly the original setup with just a few pieces added onto it. First of all, let's see there. Look at things haven't been used. Look at that. Look in the back there, not even a scratch on it. Surprised. But I made some changes to this game. For the next game, I'll be asking Sam Kenny and friends to play with me. Since I really have nobody to play with over here, I'm all alone. I'm stuck with playing solitaire games. Yeah, I know. Feel sorry for me. I know. I feel sorry for me too. But call to arms, man. Asking you all, Sam Kenny and friends, along with Hunter Jones and C24 and maybe somebody else, will play a 5-man game on this thing. And let me show you the rules changes I made to this with the house rules I found on the internet and also accidentallies.org. And first of all, this game really didn't come with 2-hit battleships. You think one of those babies that's just one shot and it's gone forever. So that needed to be fixed. So I added 2-hit battleships and also carriers. You might not notice, but that rule originally came from this World War II expansion for use with Axis and Allies. Elaborate naval rules by Gamer's Paradise. This is back in the late 80s. Most of you guys weren't even born then. Yes, I'm talking to you, Sam Kenny. And friends. My goodness. So what else have it made changes to spice this broken game with up? Well, first of all, with the text. There's 6 texts on there. Well, you got the original rules. You had to roll a 6. And if you don't get it, you don't get it. You wasted 5 IPCs. But what I'm going to do, let's see there. I'm going to use the anniversary style of rolling for text. You know what that is? You pay for a dice. If you don't get it, you save that token until the next roll. You can even buy another token as well. You keep rolling for a 6. Keep rolling those dice until one of them hits a 6 and you put it back in the bank. What's that over here? Ugh. Gotta fix that baby. Look alive, soldier! Yeah, I'm talking to you. Get back there. Alright. Straighten that soldier out. Let's see what else. Oh yeah. Bombers. They're pretty useless in this game. Pretty expensive too. You see where's a bomber right there? What I did, well now bombers in this version, my version, can carry at least 1 troop. Either non-combat or combat. And if you get heavy bombers, you can carry 2 troops. But of course you have to start, if you want non-combat a troop on there, you got to carry from the land. Starts from land, let's say, into Egypt. Non-combat, where that is, and both are staying there for the non-combat phase. But if it's a combat phase, carries that same trooper, and the bomber doesn't, let's say they want to attack Egypt, he could just paratrooper over Egypt, and then the paratrooper can attack at a 1. Actually at a 2, a paratrooper being a specialized force. Of course, a bomber is just there to carry it, so it doesn't use any of their weaponry on their bomber. It's just paradropping, and then they'll go back in their non-combat, the bomber that is. Price changes. And you really doesn't really give a clear indication, but I made fighters 10 instead of 12, bombers 12 instead of 13 instead of 15, battleships from 24 to 24, my favorite show. Sorry, C-24. Carriers, they were 18, I put them down to 14. Transports from 8 to 7. Submarines from 8 to 6. Industrial complexes from 15 to 10. And I added a couple new pieces to this game which it didn't originally come with before, such as the destroyer, the mech, and also the artillery. There it came in this game, but I look up through the house rules where to set them. So Germany was started with, I believe, 4 artilleries, but all the other allies and Axis forces will only start 1 in their capital. So I guess that's okay, because Germany was ready for war and they were famous for their 88s. But all the other nations just get one, usually at their capital or your original industrial complex. Same thing with pretty much the Allies forces. They only start with a mech at their capitals. Well, America does anyways, but Britain will start when Egypt had to use a Jeep as a mech, because I'm using the mech from my other game right now. And I believe Germany will start out with a few, at least 3 or 4. And with Russia, they'll start with 2. Right there and there. And I looked again for the destroy placements. Usually where there's a transport or a carrier, I just put a destroyer in its right next to it for all nations, including Russia. Make their small name, but not as small. And now, transports. Right there. Well, the newer versions of today, transports can't even defend at all. But in the original rules, it could defend at 1. But it's pretty unrealistic. You can shoot at a battleship or such ships. So, in my house rules, the transport can shoot at aircrafts at least, at a 1, of course. And if ever a ship or aircraft should go against a lone transport and happen to miss in the first round of battle, then that transport escapes away unscathed. Instead of getting destroyed automatically, you have to earn your hits. But if they don't earn their hits in the first round of battle, it automatically retreats elsewhere to another sea zone if the attacker should continue the battle, which is useless under these rules. And plus, you can carry an AA gun and get to fire it as well. It only gets 1 shot though, of course, and it's only against aircraft for the AAs on the transport itself. Let's see what else here. Let's see. Let me look at my list here. Okay, also strategic bombing raids. In the original rules, only a bomber gets to go against an industrial complex, a full functioning one, and try to bomb it for money. But under my house rules, interceptors can go against it, as well as the AA, of course. And the bomber can have also an escort of fighters with them as well, to battle against the interceptors before dropping their payload. And either side can retreat from an SBR, strategic bombing raid, and the battle will be over. Yeah, let's see here. Got that side done, I believe, here. Now the other side, map changes. Well, in these original rules, it didn't have the Sahara Desert. So if Germany wanted to blitz through, they could blitz all the way to Kenya, or actually to Belgian Congo, providing this had no unit in there. But under my house rules, put a little red marking on it to make them impassable, as well as northern India. You can't just go from China into India. It's impassable. It's just impassable. Another rule, if you go over here into the Ukraine, move away you, Pripyat marshes, which is impassable to everybody. The reason why I did that, because under these original classic rules, it was pretty hard for Germany to get to the Caucasus as well as to Russia because of Karelia. How it could easily defend against those three territories. But with the Pripyat marshes, which is supposed to be southern Belarus and northern Ukraine, I put it right there. So these units that are right here right now in Ukraine cannot be attacked from Karelia. So it makes it easier for the Germans, at least for one territory, to get to the Caucasus on the way to Mother Russia. Another rule. Under the original rules, you have to have Egypt and Syria, Iraq to control a canal. Under my rules, it's more realistic this way. Syria and Iraq is not necessary, which is Transjordan in the other maps. All you have to do is control Egypt to control the canal, which is more realistic that way, because Transjordan or Syria, Iraq had really no say in the canals passing. And let me see what else here. Okay, the straits. I had two straits here. Whoever owns Gibraltar owns the strait, and you can't pass through it. You have to get Gibraltar in order to pass through it, with the exception of submarines, of course. And with the Danish Straits, I believe they call it the Skagerrak Straits. If you control Western Europe, you control the Straits. So you can't just simply go into the Baltics and attack Germany if you don't have Western Europe. So it protects the shipping there. Of course, not against aircrafts, of course, but against ships as well. Plus, a rule I also have is wherever you have an industrial complex, you can also send planes to help defend your sea zones, up to 3, of course, like the later rules stated, but at industrial complexes, of course, only. And also, IPC changes in territories. I made Gibraltar at least 1, so that ups it 1 for Britain. Instead of 30, they have 31, but of course with the Germans going first, they can take it over easily if they choose to do so. And with the Pacific here, these 3 territories you see 1s on, I had to do it because they were 0, which is, I don't think is realistic, because they were strategically important during the war, especially the Carolines and the Solomons. So they should be added to your IPC total for it. So Japan just starts out in the original rules 25, but now it's up to 28, which it makes it easier for them, because this game here was pro-allies, so they had to have these rule changes, because the allies won most of the games. As today with the 1940 global, the Axis usually win, which I think should be changed with some house rules. And I hope young Grasshopper and his sidekick General Hand Grenade with their deluxe version, hope they can fix that. Yes, I'm talking to you guys. And let's see what else. Also another thing it has a must in this game: expand the sea zone in the Pacific. So I got it from this, also from Gamer's Paradise. the World War II expansion for Axis and Allies, they recommended putting an extra sea zone in Japan coast and also the western United States coast. Doesn't affect the allies of those territories, just affects against their enemies. So I can't just simply go 1, 2 into there, because if you see that red line there, the subzone, it takes an extra movement to get into that territory, including planes and subs. So they would have to be right next to it if they wanted the ship wanted to attack that territory. So, look alive, soldier! Get in there. You 2 airmen, get over there. Yeah. And let's see. So it just makes those 2 territories easier to defend when you have an extra sea zone affecting the enemy. But it doesn't affect, of course, Japan. They can just move as normal as they want to, in or out of it. Just their enemies that can't. Same thing with Western United States, which I think it's a must in this classic version. And let me see what else here. Neutrals. The original rules, it says neutrals should also, if you pay 3 IPCs, you capture that territory, which I think was ridiculous. So I'm just doing it like the global rules and combined with the 1914 rules. And I put, of course, territory values. Like Spain is a 3, Turkey's a 3. They're both strategic territories. As long as Venezuela and Colombia, I put it at a 2 because it's strategic, because of the Panama Canal. And of course, Mongolia is at 2. And Sweden there, you see it's 2 as well, because they're both strategic. And so if you attack any of those neutrals, all the neutrals in the whole world will go pro-whatever, pro-allies or pro-axis. So let's no-no. Attack these neutrals, it'll be a big old penalty. And on top of that, they will have to go against the forces that are already in those neutral territories. So like in 1914 rules, like a 3, it'll be twice that. It will be like 6 units, so it'll be 5 units and 1 artillery. So it prevents neutral territories to be attacked. It's a big old penalty. I don't think really anybody want to attack them. And with these territories like Saudi Arabia and such, with Angola, Mozambique, and others there that don't have territory value, it's an automatic 1, as long as it forces as well. So Angola is really 1, and it'll have 2 units, infantry and artillery as well if you want to attack it, which you shouldn't. And finally, Russia. Yes, Russia does not attack in the first round because it's already pro-allies in this in the classic version, so it helps the Axis make their job easier for victory. But I like the victory conditions. You have to get either 2 or 3 of the territory, of the capitals, or of course that's against the Allies. The Axis, you gotta get both of those territories, Japan and Germany, their capitals, in order to win. Another one for the Axis side, you have to get a total of 84 in IPC totals at the end of the round, which I think is good for them because it's already goes against them in these rules. So I make a challenge to you guys. Sam Kenny, C-24, Hunter Jones. Maybe somewhere this summer, spring or summer, we'll play this over to YouTube. I know you guys may not have this game, but you can get it over the internet, or you can find it at a thrift store, like I did. I've seen on eBay it costs about $25. Of course, that's only for the map itself, but that shouldn't be no problem. You guys have the pieces anyways, and you always can download the rules from accidentallies.org. Real easy. And another thing, another thing I get away to my nephews is the map that came. You can buy it off from Gamer's Paradise. Came with these rules. This is what the map looked like. Wrong one. Wrong one, idiot. It looks similar to this. This is what the Pacific looked like in that map. It made the territories at least twice as big. Because, as you see, this map is pretty small. Also, World War III expansion for accidentallies. I'll make another video to show of all these expansion rules from the late 80s and 90s into the 90s. I have most of them. I'll show them to you real soon. Oh yeah, just look at the money that came with. The original money. Hasn't even been used. It's not even dirty. Had to laminate some of mine because they were dirty. So I put a challenge to you men. Sam Kenny, Hunter Jones, C-24. See if you would like to play this against the old No Limit here. Come on, what are you, chicken? I thought you might. But I hope you do play, because I need someone to play this game with me. I can hardly wait. My brother's been a real pill lately, so I haven't been able to play with him. He's the only one I could play with. So I'm down to solitaire games, as I stated before. So, put a challenge to you guys. Maybe somewhere this spring and summer, if you get your own map, you could play this version. You don't even need the piece because you already have the pieces. And I'll put in the description the extra pieces that goes onto this map. So, No Limit out from Chicago to all you people. May all your rolls be sixes when you're playing against me.